took in Harvard Stadium. Giants are still trying to get over their year in the Yale Bowl. Still thinking about you, Giant fans. Then there's the logo, this red, white, and blue Patriot on their helmet snapping a ball. Could you win if you look like this?
Of course, Axe favors logos like turquoise fish, and he'll be back with his pick, which I'm sure will surprise everybody when NFL 85 continues.
Hilton presents the NFL Competition Classics. One of the baddest boys on the block in his hometown of Boston, Howie Long has grown into the beast of the Raider machine. He patrols a beat where no one escapes his long arm of the law. Like the queen on a chessboard, Howie Long attacks from every angle to checkmate opponents. And his effort has made him the best defensive lineman in the NFL.
Effort. It's what separates one company from another. Effort. It's what it takes to stay ahead. Effort. It's the difference between a job and a job well done. Effort. It's what makes Hilton America's business address.
Boys got what it takes. Full tilt, all out, holy flakes. Nothing halfway, nothing sweet. Just a great big crunch of good whole wheat. Yeah, hey, banana, move aside. These big flakes got nothing to hide. Wheaties, Wheaties, good whole wheat. Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
When you send a package to Europe, do you get that sinking feeling that it could be anywhere? Here, there, out of your hands, lost? Well, now, Federal Express is going to Europe. We'll make sending a package there as easy and reliable as it is here. 2-day service to London, Frankfurt, Zurich, Brussels, Amsterdam, and Paris. On our own planes. Now that you know Federal Express is going to Europe, why fool around with anyone else?
Lots of people going to Florida choose a rent-a-car company by comparing rates.
Hello, what's your rate? Uh-huh. What's your rate? Yeah, what's your rate?
But these days, everyone offers low rates in Florida, so it pays to compare services.
What do you get for that? Uh-huh. What do you get? What do you get?
Hertz offers computerized driving directions, 24-hour road service, and there's never a drop-off charge in Florida. So come to Hertz. The services add up, but your bill won't. Hertz, you don't just rent a car, you rent a company.
Final from Chicago, Bears 24, Rams nothing, second straight shutout for the Bears. Now, the much-maligned defense of the Dolphins will never be confused with Chicago's D, but there is one Miami defender whose work always comes in for praise. And as Pete Axthelm tells us, he was so anxious to play for a winner, he put his money where his mouth was.
Amid all the modern, hard-hitting sports stories about greed and avarice, let's pause for a minute for the lighter side of the news. Have you heard the one about the superstar who gave a team its money back and lived to tell of it with a smile? The star, linebacker Hugh Green. The team, Tampa Bay. Back in October, Hugh was more than a little stir-crazy in that tangerine-colored prison. The price of freedom was a reported $335,000, part of a bonus the club had paid him. The reward was a trade to the vacation land of Miami. No, the temperatures didn't rise on that interstate trip, but the winning percentage turned upside down. Sometimes Green himself seems a little upside down. He's football's answer to the bank teller who gets locked in a vault full of cash and only worries about getting out and catching the bus home. If an armored car crashed and littered his front lawn with riches, he'd probably offer the driver a rake. No wonder he turns aside personal questions in favor of boosting the Dolphins. And he firmly rejects suggestions that when the Patriots attack today, he might be the lone cannon on the deck of a linebacking Lusitania. Great players play their best in great games, says defensive coach Chuck Studley of Miami. So I think we'll see greatness from you Green this week. Safety Glenn Blackwood offers a subtler point. The amazing thing about you, Glenn told me, is that he hardly ever gets knocked down. Guys who are always on their feet create a lot of havoc. And a man who pays cash to shape his own destiny clearly knows how to stand very tall on those feet.
Now, Axe, the Pats have won 11 of 13 and covered 13 straight weeks. But?
That's right, Bob. But all good things can come to an end, especially when the Orange Bowl is soggy. Dolphins are favored by 6. No surprise here. In the mud, I'll sink or swim again with my Dolphins.
Although the rain has, for the moment, stopped, we're about to find out who the Bears' opponent will be. The introduction's underway at the Orange Bowl. Let's go to Dick Enberg.
And all right, Bob Costas. The showers now are those of applause from the Dolphin fans as the Miami starting offense will be introduced. And they start in a super way with Mark Doper. This is a Don Shula team that has never lost in the AFC Championship. Shula and the Dolphins are 5-0. A team that felt embarrassed by the Super Bowl defeat last year to the 49ers. The crowd will be a Miami ally, as it has been in the last 15 years, and they'll make it tough on the Patriots, but the weather, a normal friend of the Dolphins, will favor the Patriots today. It's cool in the mid-60s. The winner goes to Super Bowl 20 against the Chicago Bears. The kickoff after these words from your local station.
Wednesday on Black's Magic, someone takes millions in diamonds.
Well, we take the heat.
For murder.
When you're hot, you're hot.
And the killer wants Hal Linden on ice. Wednesday.
This is a beer that's everything a fine imported beer ought to be. It's brewed with all natural ingredients, the way fine imported beers are brewed. Bottled in tall green glass, the way fine imported beers are bottled. This is Rolling Rock Premium Beer, brewed by the Latrobe Brewing Company and imported in bottles and cans from Latrobe, PA.
Some companies rent you a car, and that's it. But Hertz is with you all the way, with customer service representatives to speed you on your way. Computerized driving directions to help you find your way, and 24-hour road service in case you get stuck on the way. So you have a choice for your money. You can rent from a company that just gives you a car, or rent a car that gives you a company. Hertz, you don't just rent a car, you rent a company.
When banks serve big companies, it's nothing but the best.
This, Aubryon 45. I'll send you a case.
Big companies have easy access to unsecured credit.
Consider it done.
Other companies don't. Big companies get interest rate protection.
Just say the word.
Other companies don't.
It'll all be taken care of.
But there is a bank that offers all companies the same quality services it offers big companies. The Bank of New York. Why settle for less?
Mark Harmon and David Steinberg, Monday on Live at 5.
This is the best season I ever had, and I love it. And I want to keep winning 2 more times.
Well, I heard that Julius Adams said he wants to rip some people's faces off, and I'd like to see my face in the same place it is right now, and hopefully we'll be able to get to the Super Bowl and rip some faces off.
The National Broadcasting Company is proud to be the network of Super Bowl 20. Today, from the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, it's the AFC Championship game. The New England Patriots versus the Miami Dolphins. Brought to you by Ford, who invites you to drive the new Ford Taurus. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by the U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start.
The verbal challenges of the past week are over. It's time to play. A wet and windy Miami Sunday. Orange Bowl sellout expected 75,000 to see the Dolphins and the Patriots battle for a trip to the Super Bowl. Hello, everyone. Dick Anberg with Merlin Olsen. Welcome to Miami for what would be likened to an old-fashioned poker game. Winner take all, and the winner goes on to New Orleans. The cards have been dealt, and only two are left at the table.
Those two players playing a different kind of game today. Raymond Berry will play a conservative game, likes his hand, and he has the most talent on the field today. He basically will lean heavily on Craig James in the running game and try to take as much pressure as possible off his young quarterback, Tony Eason.
Well, Miami coach Don Shula may not like all his cards, but he does have an ace in quarterback Dan Marino.
He's got to play a different kind of game. Very aggressive, high-risk kind of game. And he, on the other hand, will put all of the pressure that he can on Dan Marino. If Marino can make that Miami passing game click against New England's defense, then Miami may walk out of here with another AFC championship.
Well, an indication of the depth of the hand of Raymond Berry is the fact he has lost due to injury this week. Irving Fryer, the top punt returner in the National Football League, a Pro Bowler, and yet New England claims the quality doesn't fall off.
Two fine receivers to back Fryer up. Stephen Starring, in fact, has really hurt Miami in the past, but they will miss Fryer on punt returns.
Well, we've added depth to our broadcast booth as well. Bob Greasy, a man who has played on this field, knows the conditions well, and congratulations to Bob. He's one of the 15 finalists for this year's Pro Football Hall of Fame. Bob?
Thank you very much, Dick. You know, the field is wet and will be slippery at times. It should be a factor early on, but these two teams have played many times. The stakes have never been this big. The Dolphins have won 18 straight in the Orange Bowl against the Patriots. The home team has won the last 9 conference championship games, but that all goes out the window today because the Patriots are a different team. Raymond Berry has them believing that they can win this ball game. They're a hot team coming in, and they feel like today destiny will be on their side.
Well, it wasn't destiny necessarily. It's fact now. The Chicago Bears, congratulations to Mike Ditka and all of the great Bear fans. Boy, at Chicago must be upside down and topsy-turvy.
And condolences to my Rams, Dick. They didn't have a very good day, to say the least.
But they got someplace where a lot of teams who are envious. Let's talk about the Bears and the fact that they have dealt out a double dose of whitewash in the playoffs. Never been done before. They talk about defense when you get to the championship games. How does that impact what we're going to see?
Dick, if this game is determined solely by the defenses, I give that edge firmly to New England. They have the better defense on the field.
All right, give me something to hang my defensive hat on. What do we look for when it comes to the New England defense trying to stop, say, Dan Marino?
All right, down in the trenches. First question, it'll be answered early. Can the New England Patriots run the football effectively against these Miami Dolphins? The Dolphins were not able to stop the run in the Super Bowl last year. It killed them. And last week, Cleveland swept them off their feet with the running game.
And the Patriots against Marino?
Patriot defense has got to control Marino. They've done a pretty good job of that. 5 games this year, Marino's been under 200 yards. 2 of those games against the Patriots. And in the 4 games that Marino has started, in which he has not thrown a touchdown pass, 2 of those games against New England.
Well, the man that leads the New England Patriots into this championship game, Raymond Berry, a Hall of Famer. He's trying to do something that no coach has been able to do in NFL playoff history, and that's win 3 straight playoff games on the road. The Raiders were a wild card team, eventually a Super Bowl champion in '80, but they played the first game as a wild card in Oakland. Berry played for Don Shula his last 5 years in Baltimore.
Don Shula with such a distinguished career, and yet many say this year he did his finest coaching job. Juggling injuries and team problems and holdouts, he once again has his team here in the AFC Championship.
The Patriots will get the football first. They're in red. There's a large contingent of fans from New England here to cheer the Patriots, but of course a partisan Dolphin crowd. Stephen Starring is the deep man. Reveiz kicks it deep. Starring replacing Irving Fryer. The former quarterback at McNeese State is out to the 35-yard line, and and finally steps out of bounds at the 37. The starting lineup for New England: Tony Eason, the young quarterback from the University of Illinois. Here are the men that will protect him, and he's got some dandies from the top. 2 Pro Bowlers, Holloway and Hahn on the left side. Brock is the center. Wooden and Moore are the guards. Dawson is the tight end. Stanley Morgan, the speed on one side, and starring for the injured Irving Fryer, the other wideout, Tony Collins, Craig James behind Eason. Starring in motion, the crowd already trying to make it tough on New England. Craig James smothered at the line of scrimmage. Jay Brophy and Bob Brzezinski in the Miami defense, and still a lot of bees to sting you in there. Bo Camper, Charles on the nose. Betters has had an off year, been injured. Green, acquired from Tampa Bay. Shipp and Brophy on the inside, Brzezinski on the outside. Judson and Langford play the corners, and Brown and Blackwood at safety. 2nd and 10. Draw. Tony Collins gets outside and has a first down at the New England 49. Bud Brown bumped him out of bounds. 12 yards for New England.
Taking you down where the action is, and anytime you're depending on the running game, you want to determine control on the line of scrimmage. A little draw play here with Collins, who runs well from that deep position, getting outside and using his speed to pick up that first down.
Collins from East Carolina. He was number 2 to Craig James, and rushing this year had 657 yards. It's James testing the center of the Miami defense. Gets 4 into the grasp of 75 Doug Betters.
The critical matchup on the line of scrimmage. The nose tackle, Mike Charles, who played well in that Monday night game here, but he was not playing against Pete Brock. Brock, who is out of the lineup because of dual knee surgery, now back in there, and the two of them, 2 big horses, battling for control in the middle of that line.
We'll keep a close watch and see who wins that duel. Right back up the middle, and nothing there except Dolphin jerseys as James stopped for no gain.
You want to watch a couple of bulls ramming heads. Watch Brock come off. Charles, number 71, slanting back inside. Brock does a good job of turning him, but then there is no room as Brzezinski seals it down. Number 59 sliding in to make the first hit on the inside.
We'll be watching the veteran Brock, the young Charles. New England goes to 3 wide receivers. Cedric Jones joining Morgan and Starring. Out of the shotgun, the handoff to Collins. And he's tripped up at the 45, shy of the first down. So Eason yet to throw a pass, as you predicted, Merlin.
That's also the kind of thing that the New England Patriots did so effectively in their first 2 wins against the Jets and against the Raiders, running out of that shotgun formation. Miami, of course, knowing that they like to do that, well equipped for it, was able to stop it on that play.
Rich Camarillo comes in to punt. Camarillo, who finished 5th in the National Football League this past year, averaging just under 43 yards a kick. Deep to return, Tom Vigorito in the middle, number 32. Aimed toward the sidelines and out of play. Camarillo won't be entirely pleased with the spot on that one. It's going to be out near the 20-yard line. It'll be the 18. Timeout in Miami. No score.
Taurus, now there's an American car with the shape and the feel we've never seen before. Taurus, now there is a personal car that has exactly what we've been looking for.
For all of us who will not compromise, Ford listened. Ford created Taurus for us.
For us. Taurus for us. Taurus for us. Have you driven aboard lately?
Who has taken the intimidation out of VCR programming?
Give me that.
RCA.
with the first remote programmable VCR.
Bird brain.
You record exactly what you want, when you want. By remote control for easy mistake-proof programming. So simple.
I can do it myself.
From RCA.
If you're interested in earning more than a paycheck, the Century 21 system announces a week of opportunity. Mark your calendar now for career sessions. Find out why we're #1, the best-known professionals in the business. Find out about our career track training, one of the most comprehensive programs in real estate. Call the Century 21 office nearest you and make a date with your future.
#1 to wait for you. Century 21.
Don't miss the Century 21 Career Opportunity Week, January 13th through the 19th.
New England takes the opening kickoff. Their drive stalls at the Miami 45. The punt out of bounds at the 18, a 27-yard kick, and Dan Marino ready to move the Dolphins on offense for the first time. Had another outstanding year, 30 touchdowns, led the National Football League. He did erase a Bob Greasy record, and that pleased our colleague today. Most interceptions in a year by a Miami quarterback. He threw 21. But
that's one you're glad to have off your back.
He has with him Tony Nathan, excellent all-purpose back, and of course incredible speed on the outside, Duper and Clayton, and they start with 3 wide receivers as veteran Nat Moore joins the magic markers, Clayton and Duper. Nathan, fumble, and New England has it. The Patriots in the 2 playoff victories have picked off 10 turnovers, given up the ball only twice, a +8. And on the first play from scrimmage, Garen Veras, the rookie from Stanford, gets it for the Red Shirts.
Inside, Nathan driving right into the line. Number 57, Nelson, the man who hit him, got his hands down inside on the football and knocked it away. Looking from the other side of the field, maybe we can see what happened to that football.
Veras, who's had an outstanding rookie year, number 60. It's first down at the 20. Eason's first pass, Collins wide open, and he has nearly 10. Stopped at the 11. It'll be 2nd and 1. Garen Veras last year was at the Super Bowl as a senior at Stanford, working in his stadium for ABC during the telecast. He wants to go there for real this time.
He's helped his team to a fine start, and Eason comes back with his first pass of the day. He likes the short receivers, the tight ends and the backs. He gets one to Collins. They're close to a first down.
Trying to capitalize on the early turnover. 2nd and 1. James. 1st and goal, New England at the Miami 8. Jay Brophy, who played his college ball here at Miami, and Bob Brzezinski with a tackle, and Tony Nathan, who had an outstanding offensive game in the victory against Cleveland last week, talking to himself on the sidelines.
Of course, he knows that there's a lot of time left in this ball game. He doesn't want to wear the goat's horns. And this is exactly what Raymond Berry had hoped for, playing close to the vest. Put the pressure on his defense, play conservative football. He liked to get the first points on the board.
Little misdirection. James behind Holloway to the 2-yard line. Big Brian Holloway, the Pro Bowl left tackle, number 76, leading James around the corner. Jackie Shipp with a hit.
Miami, a flowing defense. They try to get them flowing with a little misdirection at first, and then coming out behind the block right there of Holloway, number 76. And James always with the little hesitation. He's an interesting back to watch. He was angry there. He thought there should have been a call on Glenn Blackwood for a late hit.
2nd and goal outside the 2. Mosi Tatupu, and the door slams at the 1.
Tatupu wrapping both hands around that football like iron, determined not to fumble it back. Picked up about half of the distance to the goal line.
Big 3rd and goal for Miami. The defense can stop New England, deny a touchdown, force the field goal. It would be a big emotional lift and certainly would spur even further the enthusiasm of this home crowd. Robert Weathers. Mike Charles, the 285-pound nose tackle, drops him for a loss.
We mentioned a critical matchup on the nose. Charles leaping through, getting great penetration, and showing surprising quickness for a big man and a little bit of dancing ability at the same time.
Tony Franklin, who has kicked 6 out of 7 in the playoffs, will try not much more than an extra point. And New England has scored first. 23-yard field goal for the Patriots.
There is the stretching drive, and there is that wild dance by Charles.
8 minutes, 20 seconds left, first quarter.
This bud's for all that you do.
Carlos, I need 100 of these by Friday.
My friend, I'm retired. My son is running the business now.
You know just where you're going. It's true, your pride is showing, cause you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This bud's for you.
And here's big life insurance news.
Hey, John, your competition.
Now,
snack time.
Outstanding coverage
John,
that you can
just
afford.
move over.
Introducing Comp Life from Northwestern Mutual Life, a revolutionary new policy series that combines the low cost of term with cash value buildup, and you choose the premiums. Comp Life, an even tougher act to follow from the leader in whole life, the Quiet Company.
John, can you sell that? No.
Only a Northwestern Mutual agent can do that.
It has been proven that the more aerodynamically styled a vehicle is, the easier it slices through the air. And now, Ford brings you the age of Aerostar. Aerostar, the most aerodynamic design in its class. Aerostar, take it to the school. Take it to the campsite. Take it to the movies. Take it to the lumberyard, or take it to the max. Yes, anywhere you take it, Aerostar proves its versatility. Aerostar. Ford Aerostar.
Tony, Nathan feels 4 points better.
He certainly does. He'll be a factor in this game. A positive factor. He's been a negative factor already, but believe me, he'll be a positive factor in this game.
Thus far, New England's had the ball for 10 scrimmage plays. Miami just 1. Franklin to kick it off. Lorenzo Hampton, the rookie from Florida, deep. It's short. Hampton at the 11. Fumble! And Miami recovered. Lorenzo Hampton able to fall on his own miscue, and did he take a lick? Of course, last week, reflecting on the win over the Raiders, it was that kind of play that led to the Patriot victory.
Aggressive special teams hitting. In 3 out of the last 4 games, this kickoff coverage team has scored touchdowns. They had visions of doing it again here. That ball lashed out of the hands right there of Lorenzo Hampton, but he got it back on the bottom. Ooh, a lucky bounce for him.
Mosi Tutupu, number 30, the captain of the special teams for New England, dangerously close to another turnover. Marino. Davenport. A juggling catch, good for 7. We introduce the Miami offense to you now. Marino has Stevenson, some regard the best offensive lineman in the game today at center. Lee and Clark on the right side. Foster and Giesler on the left. Foster also on his way to the Pro Bowl. Hardy is the tight end. We'll see 3 tight ends used by Miami. The speedsters Clayton and Duper, the Mark boys outside. Woody Bennett and Nathan behind Marino. Second and 3. Davenport. Dropped for a half-yard loss. Julius Adams, the oldest defensive lineman in the NFL at 37 out of Texas Southern. He's the happiest man in the park today, still playing. Williams on the nose with Adams and the rookie Veras on the outside. Tippett, All-Pro. Nelson and McGrew on the inside. Nelson going to the Pro Bowl, and Blackman underrated. Maybe the best set of linebackers in the league. Lepet and Claiborne on the corners. Claiborne a Pro Bowler. Roland James and Marion, maybe the best back 7 or 8 in the league. New England. Joe Rose, good pass catcher in. Shotgun. 3rd and 3. Over the head of Mark Clayton. McSwain, an extra defensive back on the coverage, and Miami still looking for its initial first down. 6:42 left, first quarter. 3-0 New England. Reggie Roby with that sledgehammer right foot. 43.7 average. Roland James has replaced Irving Fryer. Only 2 punts this year. But as a rookie, he was their primary punt returner, had a touchdown. Fair catch at the 38-yard line. And with it a timeout, 6 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 3-0 Patriots.
We're not a company.
But we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge.
We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop.
To perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach.
We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
Tired of those high fuel prices? Well, guess what? They're not getting any lower. Fight back with the Attic Blanket from Owens Corning. It's the most powerful roll of thermal protection you can buy. Before fuel bills put you in the red, get the Attic Blanket and put your house in the pink.
Owens Corning. Our building products put your house in the pink.
Driven 10 hours a week, this toy could use $500 worth of alkaline batteries. Because when an alkaline battery goes dead, you throw it away. This is a GE rechargeable. When it goes dead, you don't throw it away. You do something revolutionary. You recharge it. So why spend $500 for alkaline batteries when you could spend less than $15 for 2 GE rechargeable batteries and a charger?
GE, we bring good things to life.
January's champions take to the courts. Boris Becker from Wimbledon, U.S. Open champion Ivan Lendl, Mats Wilander of the French Open, and defending champion John McEnroe. These great champions go eye to eye at the Nabisco Masters. January's champions are on NBC Sports.
Silent but strong, the taciturn Barry, age 52. He has to be pleased. He has the first points, and that's been a winning omen through the course of the year. 35-yard punt by Roby. New England has the ball for the 3rd time, starting from its 38. Eason. Stanley Morgan, first down at the Miami 44. It's a catch, 18 yards.
Stanley Morgan, for so many years, a threat to go deep at any time. And Eason, who traditionally favors the shorter patterns, throws this ball at a perfect spot. That's good coverage by Judson, who leans inside. But you can't throw a deep pass, a deep cut in any better than that.
Check that. It's the 44-yard line, first down. Incomplete to Starring, and we have a flag down. A possible late check or hold. Hugh Green, 55, was the man applying pressure. Oh, it's against New England. Illegal use of the hands. Often the late flag coming from that spot, it's against the tight end. interference, 87 offense. 10-yard penalty, will repeat the first down.
Tight end Lynn Dawson. So the Patriots are moved back to their half of the field, the 46-yard line. 3-0, 5:45 remaining first quarter. Patriots lead by the field goal after a fumble recovery deep in Miami territory. James. Horse collared at the 50 by Bob Brzezinski. Looked as if James would get much more than the 5.
Good inside-out pursuit. That's one thing that this Miami defense has always done well, is flow to the football. Brzezinski, toughest against the run, but really is a dependable linebacker, and on that play showed you exactly why.
Former #1 draft pick of the Rams in the playoffs 4 years with the Rams, then came to Miami. So he just basically counts on working in December and January. On 2nd and 15, James for 3. Charles with the tackle.
Perfect illustration of the conservatism that we anticipated from Raymond Berry. In a very long second and long, he goes right to the running game and Craig James, and running in behind that all-pro left-hand side of his line. You're going to give up, and you're willing to give up some yardage in that kind of situation because you've got to think pass rush.
Men on the line of scrimmage, but only 4 attack. Derek Ramsey shy of the first down. Bud Brown, who has played very well all year, just a second-year man, a long shot out of southern Mississippi, made the play.
New England playing a field position game, obviously content on that play to get the yardage and not the first down. Now they're going to give that football back to Marino and the Miami offense.
And Tommy Vigorito, who drifts back to return, the veteran from Virginia. Camarillo to punt. McSwain can't save it. Touchback. Miami will begin from the 20, trailing 3-0.
This is the new Ford Taurus, Motor Trend Car of the Year. Taurus is more than just a new Ford product. It's the product of a new Ford philosophy, a belief that engineering and design should set trends, not follow them. Being named Car of the Year says a lot about Taurus, but perhaps more significantly, it says even more about Ford.
United States.
Chicago, Los Angeles, Boston, Massachusetts.
United Airlines can take you to the Far East from more U.S. cities than any other airline.
New York.
United Airlines to Tokyo and to Hong Kong. Fly a friend to the Far East.
You're not just flying. Meili.
Colilla, Ohio.
You're flying the friendly skies.
Nobody puts you in the middle of football action like the people at NFL Films, and nobody's hungrier to help aggressive growing companies like theirs than Midlantic. NFL Films teamed up with the hungry bankers right at the start. When their signals called for a major expansion, the Midlantic team provided the funding. And whatever financial play they run next, we'll help carry the ball. If you're playing to win, call the hungry bankers at Midlantic. We're pros.
January's champions take to the ice. Ty Babylonia and Randy Gardner, the beautiful Linda Fratiani, the Protopopovs, and everybody's favorite Dorothy Hamill. The gathering begins at the World Professional Figure Skating Championships on NBC Sports World.
Every player in the game recognizes one effort might decide a Super Bowl, and so it is with Rod McSwain.
Watch McSwain with that second effort. This is what coaches talk about. Now, he leapt before he got into the end zone. If he had been able to knock that football back into the field of play, then Miami would be starting inside their 5-yard line.
Instead, the 20-yard line, Bennett and Nathan behind Marino. Underneath, Bruce Hardy, and the Dolphins have their first down. Larry McGrew and Roland James collaborated on the tackle.
First down.
Don Shula, the lantern-jawed head man of the Dolphins, now 56, the second winningest coach in NFL history this year. He passed Tom Landry in their nose-to-nose battle. He now has 255 wins to Landry's 253. They're still a distant second behind George Halas. First down, Davenport. He's the man who scored that 31-yard touchdown against Cleveland to get the Dolphins to this Sunday date.
Davenport cutting back against the grain on the outside. Steve Nelson, who has had a fine year and is the defensive general for this Patriots defense, flowing nicely, but Davenport cut right through his arms to make a good gain.
Joe Carter replaces Davenport. There's Nelson, veteran on his way to the Pro Bowl in his 12th year. Duper, and a first down at the 47. Marion saved a touchdown with a tackle.
If you want to know what quick release is, that's quick release. Dropping back. Marino never did set up to throw that football. Literally throws it on the way back. And of course, you've got to have somebody to receive that ball. Notice the quick release off the inside. Claiborne not able to get the jump on it.
What a catch by Duper. He caught the back half of the ball. Joe Carter. He has a first down at the 35.
Don Shula loves to juggle the offensive weapons. Joe Carter's the fastest of his offensive weapons. Carter has not played a great deal, has fumbled some early, and Shula has taken him out of the lineup for the last few ball games, but he's back in there with a big play on that down.
He had 76 yards all season rushing and a dozen on that play. They put some pressure on Marino, and it was Adams in first, forcing Marino to throw it away.
Second and 10.
Talk to Eddie Kayat, the defensive coach of these New England Patriots. He'll tell you that Julius Adams, who has been around forever, almost in Methuselah, is still the fastest of those Patriot linemen off the ball. You see what dividends that paid, and right now he's working on John Giesler. Giesler's got a knee problem, a right knee that's bothering him, which will slow him down in his drop. Julius, I think, will give him problems all day long on that count.
Second and 10. Nathan the only back behind Marino. The tight end Hardy has another first down. Hardy making his move in front of Marion right at the yardsticks and has 10 more yards for Miami.
Marino simply unafraid when it comes to throwing that football. Even if the man is covered, he's confident in his throwing ability.
Davenport for 3. Varus, number 60, one of the key men on the tackle. There's John Hanna, the great guard for the New England Patriots. That is the end of the first quarter in Miami. The Patriots lead by 3.
So how much you making now? Huh? I'm going fine. You gotta be making at least 25. I'm fine. Maybe a little better than that. 30? Tell me yes or no. Are you making 30? Around 30. got any investments, any stuff?
Not really.
You're making 30, and you don't have anything like that. What do you think? You're 18 years old or something?
He's Don Shula, the winningest coach in the NFL.
Sure, winning is important on the field, but winning is also important in the home, in the community. Contrary to what people believe, a lot of good things do happen in Miami. Families that have been broken have been able to get it back together. That's why I have such faith in the United Way. It gives to all different types of families, regardless of race, creed, or color. It's there to help the needy, and that's what's important to me.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Even if you can't get to Super Bowl 20 in New Orleans, you can still get the official game program. This big 182-page magazine about the Super Bowl is a collector's item. You'll relive Super Bowls past, enjoy a week-by-week review of the season, scouting reports of the contenders, and much more. The authentic Super Bowl program. Send your check for $5 plus 95 cents postage and handling to Super Bowl 20. Post Office Box 20, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651.
You have a great relief pitcher in Miami, and Don Strock. He's been in the league 12 years and knows his role and admires the man who plays in front of him.
Very candid interview in the papers here this week, and that's what Strock had to say about Marino. And basically what he's saying is a quarterback has to be willing to pull the trigger. If he's afraid of looking bad, if he's afraid of throwing the interception, he can't throw the great pass, the kind of pass that Marino just threw a moment ago right into the coverage. I think that's what has separated Dan Marino more than anything else from the other quarterbacks in the league, and in particular, the young quarterbacks in the league.
Marino just 24. 3 sensational years in Miami. Start of the second quarter, 3-0 New England, second down and 7. Duper unable to hang on. Look at the first quarter statistics. New England had the ball most of the time, so it figures they would have the top numbers as they had the football 9.5 minutes to approximately 5.5. But Miami outgained them by 7. That conservatism of Raymond Berry, he got his 3, but didn't gamble on much more.
Well, New England got 3 out of their opportunity down in that near the end zone. Miami's opportunity is now. Let's see what they do with that chance.
3rd and 7. Nat Moore in, slotted left. Clayton, first down at the 10.
Miami's wide receivers virtually shut out last week in the Cleveland game. And David Shula, their coach, took them back to the basics this week. Well, I don't know if that was the result of it, but Clayton just turned Ronnie Lepet all the way around and took that easy pass on the sideline for a first down.
Dolphins were best in the entire NFL on 3rd down conversions on the year, over 45%. They make good on that one. Now they have the full 10 yards to go for the touchdown. There was a little crack there, and Duper, much like the play that they hit on this drive, Marino a little high and wide.
Timing patterns. About half of the passes that Marino throws will be thrown to a spot on the field. He'll just explode with that. He gets this one in the air extremely quickly and accurately, but just a little too hot and a little too high for Duper to handle.
Duper right, Clayton left. Tight end is Johnson, left side. Johnson, touchdown. The tight end from Iowa State, and Miami leads for the first time. Try for point by Fuad Reveiz. He's had a sensational rookie year as the Dolphin kicker. 14 minutes, 39 seconds remaining in the first half, and it's Miami 7, New England 3.
Again, Marino showing you why he doesn't mind having the pressure of this offense on his shoulders. He's got Johnson all the way. Johnson working on Larry McGrew, number 50. Brett Marion, the safety, there to help. But Marino able to just zero that football in between the two defenders. The tight end came down with it.
Here's all of the talents of a man catching the ball. One, he has to elude a man who's trying to take him out of the play. He has to watch the ball and watch the end line. Just gets his feet down as he makes the catch. And the Dolphins lead by 4. Former hockey player from Minnesota. Bob Greasy, how did you see that play?
Right here is Dan Johnson. He's going to go down the field and break to the inside. The interesting thing is Marion right here is more concerned with doubling out here and does not help on the tight end Johnson. The Patriots more concerned with the wide receivers. You see Marion hang right there, and Johnson does a good move to get around McGrew.
7-3. Marino immediately goes to work on his thoughts for the next possession, and it'll be New England's turn. Stephen Starring, the deep man, as Reveiz will kick it off. It's short. Starring sprinting all the way up to the 16. And out of bounds at the 33. Fuad Reveiz himself in on the tackle.
This is one area where the Dolphins have not had a super year, is in coverage, both of kickoffs and of punts. Here's the kicker, Fuad Reveiz. He's not used to getting in on too much action, although he was a linebacker here when he was a high schooler in Miami. So I guess he doesn't mind putting his head into one.
New England at the 34. Let's see if the Patriots open it up. They start with the two big backs, Tutupu and Robert Weathers. Weathers from Arizona State. His brother played here last weekend. Clarence Weathers, the little brother for the Cleveland Browns wide receiver. Brzezinski was still another tackle after a gain of about 3. Eason has thrown the ball only 3 times in the game. Safe patterns, 29 yards total. He has not been intercepted in the playoffs. Weathers close to a first down. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, that is Steve Nelson. They're working on the veteran linebacker's shoulder.
Now, if Nelson leaves the game, and I think you really would have to hurt that man to get him out of the game because he's double tough. That would be a blow to this defense because he is like a second coach on the field. He and Rod Rust constantly together reviewing what Rust wants on the field. He calls all the adjustments to that defense. A critical part of this New England defensive team.
Meanwhile, it's 3rd and less than a yard. Weathers vaulting to a first down at the 47-yard line. Raymond Berry, Merlin Olsen, what do you think that, many said, well, he came in last year and he'd just be around for a while till they got themselves a real head coach, and he has proved to be the real head man.
I think he surprised everyone. I think they chose him because they didn't think anyone could argue with Raymond Berry. That's a good choice for an interim coach. He's been much more than that. The most important contribution, teaching this team to believe in themselves, and the second most important thing, helping them to get involved with the kind of work ethic that he had as a player, and he's got them to believe in that too.
Tutupu. Good solid tackle by Brzezinski. Is he having a first half? Brzezinski, the 31-year-old former All-American from Ohio State, has been in on almost every defensive play. Look at those eyes.
Boy, those linebackers do have the looks of birds of prey, don't they? Like a hawk, he comes in on this one. Head to head with Tutupu right there. and there's no place to go.
2nd down and 8. Weathers. He's free on the sidelines. Robert Weathers all the way to the Miami 8-yard line, and the Patriot fans cheer.
This Miami team gave up a 61-yard run last week. Well, this one is not 61 yards, but it's stop and go for Weathers, who looks like he has stopped on several occasions. Right there, they had him on the sideline. They get him again here. That's not Judson, Paul Langford, who finally got a chance at him downfield, and he got extra yardage after that. Poor tackling by the Miami Dolphins.
Craig James stopped after a gain of a yard. Back to Weathers' run. It was his longest of the year, 44, and the 2nd longest of the entire season from scrimmage by the Patriots.
Well, that's the running game. We asked the question early, can this Miami defense do what they have not done in several big games? We mentioned the Super Bowl last year. They were embarrassed by the way they allowed the 49ers to run.
Officially, Weathers gets 45. It's 2nd and goal from the 6. Only 2 more yards as Collins had to leave his feet to make the catch. Had that pass been up a little higher and within his running range, could have gotten a touchdown.
You may feel that Collins is going to wind up in your lap as he comes out to the outside. Dick, you called it very well. He had room to run, but that ball just outside of his reach, and he had to go to the ground to get it.
Morgan to the right, Starring to the left. Eason likes to go to his tight end. He's got Derek Ramsey left. Touchdown, Tony Collins. Eason doing a good job. The young quarterback showing patience. He didn't hurry the throw, and finally Collins, with that much time, broke free.
Eason actually started to throw this football, stopped himself. I think this is one of the most difficult things to do. The ball is on its way. Watch him right here. Gets the arm out and literally stopped it, and then stepped back, recocked his arm, and threw the touchdown pass. He had plenty of time. That was the key to the play. Great pass protection by that New England line.
Franklin's try for a point. Eason, good job of getting the ball down, and it is good. So a 45-yard run by Robert Weathers sets up this touchdown pass from Tony Eason to elated Tony Collins.
Everybody who builds trucks likes to talk tough, but only one talks tough and proves it. Dodge. Dodge has behind every one of these truck parts for 5 years or 50,000 miles. Now, how many parts does Chevy and Ford back for the same amount of time? Sure, the others talk tough. Dodge proves it.
Now, get 7.9 financing on selected new full-size Dodge pickups in stock, 2- and 4-wheel drive.
AT&T is in fast action. The Buffalo Sabres wanted to sell more tickets.
Sabres Ticket Office.
We recommended AT&T International 800 service.
I just need your credit card number.
Which quickly expanded their market.
This makes over 1,100 orders from Canada.
And boosted sales 20%.
Sold out.
Another reason to choose AT&T long-distance services. Talk with us. AT&T, the right choice.
Glacier Bay, Alaska, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Glacier Bay means the one and only Alaskan king crab, sweet, fresh, and big. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer, cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer, and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place. An Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee, and Old Milwaukee Light.
Hey guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Today's game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation. We don't want to be the biggest. We just want to be the best. By Stroh's and Stroh Light. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here. And by GTE, the telecommunications consultant to Super Bowl 20.
Welcome back to Miami's Orange Bowl. Tony Collins, the touchdown maker for the Patriots, who had the lead 10-7, and Tony Franklin kicks it off to Lorenzo Hampton of Miami at the 8. Behind the wedge, 25. And to the 31-yard line. Miami with the ball. Bob Griese to examine that last Patriot touchdown.
Dick, Tony Eason wants to get the ball right here to Collins on an option. The linebacker is going to blitz here, and Brzezinski's going to run out. That means Bud Brown is man-to-man. Now he starts an option. He can go either way. He starts outside, and he's covered and comes back to the inside. That's why Eason fakes to like he's going to throw it outside. Watch him right here. He fakes. He's covered. And Collins comes back to the inside, and Eason has the presence of mind to wait for him.
Certainly can't fault Bud Brown on the coverage. He did his job, but he can't stay on a man forever. 10-7, New England leads. Tony Nathan to the 37-yard line. A gain of about 6. Steve Nelson back in the game, made the tackle.
Nelson with a strained shoulder, we understand, and we saw the tape job going on that. Another shoulder that those Patriots are worried about, Craig James, who is playing with an injured right shoulder. I'll tell you that in a game like this, you're willing to sustain some pain. There is no game to follow unless you win in this ball game today. Now, interesting, look at those stats momentarily. Fairly comparative until you realize that those are 2-game stats for Eason and 1 game for Marino.
Fumble. And who's got it? No signal yet. It's New England. Lester Williams, a former Miami Hurricane, played his college ball in this stadium. Bad exchange and another turnover to the Patriots.
Marino and Stevenson have had some trouble during the year with the snap. Stevenson so quick at trying to get those hands up that sometimes that ball is not successfully handed to his quarterback. Marino never got the football. Lester Williams, the nose tackle, able to get it.
See there as Marino pulling away, and it bounced right to Lester Williams, a nose guard. First down at the Miami 36. Oh, a little flea flicker. Stanley Morgan is deep. But that throw a little too deep. They had it covered, did the Dolphins. Not fooled at all.
Morgan opened briefly, and I really believe if Marino had been in there at quarterback, Marino would have delivered the ball instantly. But Eason does not have the kind of confidence in his arm. As you watch right there, Morgan realizing he's going to have to make an adjustment. Eason has thrown that football away.
Same look. And same result. As you saw Morgan, that brought back memories from Orange Bowl past as Craig James plowing for about 8 yards, close to a first down. That wave, remember Jimmy Orr, Orange Bowl, Super Bowl III, when Joe Namath and the Jets beat the Colts?
The Colt coach that day, Don Shula, and a wide receiver on that team.
That's right, Raymond Berry. You played against Berry, what, about 12 times?
About 12 times in his career, and I'll tell you, he was a great player. He's proving to be, I think, a great coach as well, and a breath of fresh air for all of football.
3rd and 2. James has the first down. It's interesting, Merlin, with the power on the left side of the New England line with Holloway and Hanna, they're actually running more right. Maybe the Dolphins are geared for the ball to go the other way.
Well, I think they have strength on both sides of the line. The other thing, and it was mentioned by Pete Axthelm early in the game, they have put their most dominant player, Hugh Green, on that right side. He is that right linebacker. And again, if he is playing the kind of football he's capable of, you don't want to be over on his side all day long.
So running away from Green and figuring that Wooten and Moore on the right side can do the job, and are. First down. Big hole. Greg James all the way to the 13-yard line. Fumble to say the Dolphins, but no, they rule the ball down. 12 more for New England and another first down. Was there a fumble?
Let's take a peek at it here. James, now if he hits the ground before the ball comes loose, there is no fumble. 3 Dolphins. Langford 44, 53. Brophy stripping at it. Now that's Brzezinski. I think his knee was down before Brzezinski stripped that football away.
I agree.
James again. And the play made by Hugh Green. Laser eyes.
You see the flash off Green's eyes. This is the play we just watched a moment ago to check on the fumble. This is from the other side of the field. You'll see the ball more effectively. You see the knee is down, and you see Brzezinski stripping at that football. But I think it's a good call by the officials.
Credit a half yard to James on the last play. It's second and a long 9. Morgan wide open. It'll be first and goal, New England, at about the 1.5 yards.
When the running game is working and the defensive linemen have to concentrate on playing the offensive lineman for the run, it very often will give you plenty of time to throw the football. With all kinds of time to throw, Eason can find a wide open Morgan, and Morgan fights it all the way down inside the 2-yard line.
Morgan looked like a ball in a pinball machine the way he was getting hit about, but maintained possession. First and goal. New England trying to add to a 10-7 lead. Eason on the bootleg. Touchdown. Derek Ramsey.
Play action pass inside. Freeze the linebackers and then roll out and zip that football to your favorite receiver.
Ramsey, who has a Super Bowl ring, one of only 2 Patriots to so adorn a favorite finger. Tony Franklin adds the extra point. Ramsey won the ring with the Raiders in '80, and in 1979 Greg Hawthorne with the Steelers, the only Patriots to reach that high football honor. Eason figures this will help him on his way to New Orleans. They lead by 10.
A new company has begun, yet it has a 150-year history. It's only a few days old, but it's already the #1 manufacturer of medium and heavy-duty trucks. Although you've never heard of it, it's in the top quarter of the Fortune 500. The company is Navistar International, and while it's just starting to roll, it's already in high gear. Introducing Navistar, the rebirth of International Harvester.
If you like your hamburgers hot and beefy, clap your hands. Big Mac, quarter pounder, McDLT. Big and beefy, you can eat your fill. We got it hand warm and hot off the grill. And warm and hamburger time. It's a good time for the great taste. Can't be alive if you don't get it hot. Hot, yeah!
On a typical day, companies transmit about 50 million packets of computer information over the Telenet data network, which is the equivalent of over 1 million typewritten pages. You see, Telenet helps many of the top companies manage vital information, everything from inventories to financial records. Imagine sending this much information in a day without an error. Gee. No, GTE.
Tony Eason, first and goal. Safety, conservative type pass, play action to Weathers, and then the quick hit to his tight end, Derek Ramsey, and it's now 17-7 New England. The underdog Patriots Third straight week on the road. Third straight week not supposed to win, and they've opened a 10-point advantage. Hampton lets it bounce out of bounds, and Franklin will have to kick again from the 30-yard line. That gives us a chance to go to Bob Greasy.
Dick, that last touchdown was well designed. These receivers split out. They're all window dressing. Watch Ramsey right here. He's going to hit into Brzezinski and sneak out into the flat. Now, the key block is Ron Wooten is going to come out here and get a piece as the two backs come in this way, and Easton is going to fake. But watch the block. Wooten, 61, gets on the corner, allows the time for Easton to get the ball. Good coverage, but that's all you need when you're down there close. Just get position, and you have a touchdown.
Chuck Studley, defensive coordinator, not speaking in gentle terms to his defense right now. Frustrated and angry. He has taken a great deal of heat here in Miami. But Shula, I'm sure, aware of the fact that he does not have the greatest of tools to work with on defense.
He doesn't have the same cards that Bill Arnsparger had when he ran the defense here. And one of the biggest that is out of there is Bob Baumhauer. They really have missed him inside.
Even though Charles has played well on the nose, Baumhauer was a proven performer who gave them that inside strength. And if he were in the lineup, Charles would be out shoring up that right end position, where Beaucamper has had such problems in the last half of the year. And we might add that Beaucamper is having some of that trouble because of an injury. He's got a shoulder problem that compounds things.
After the 5-yard penalty, it's Hampton again from the 15. And he's all the way to the 44-yard line. And an injury and a penalty on the play.
We had a clip on that play. Alex Moyer, 54, with a clear clip on Ernest Gibson, 43, and a very angry group of Patriot players out on the field. That's a silly mistake and a stupid one, and one that will bring out the ire of the players, because when you can see a man's name on the back of his jersey, you don't lay yourself on the back of his legs.
Moyer, the rookie from Northwestern, and Gibson, that can be a career-ending type injury when somebody nails you in the back, and that's why it's a 15-yard penalty.
Here is that play. It'll be on the right-hand side. Well, we just saw the last part of the action, but you'll see the run by Lorenzo Hampton there. They nailed him, got him down. I think Gibson is all right. He is up and walking, but not the kind of thing you'd like to see. And that's not a deliberate play by Moyer. That's not a deliberate play, but that's a stupid play.
Instead of the 44, Marino starts from his 17. To Duper for about 10. One of the things I'm sure that Shula cautioned Marino, hey, don't get hungry, don't try to gulp it all at once, don't make a mistake where you throw an intercept trying to get it all in one play. Let's just get another score before halftime. That would have to be the immediate goal.
I think perhaps the biggest difference between Marino in this season as opposed to last is that he has had to be more patient. So many teams really concentrating on taking away that outside speed and forcing him to go underneath. And Marino doesn't like that. He still would like to bomb you on every play, but he's having to throw the shorter passes this year.
First down on that throw to Duper. Inside handoff to Woody Bennett. Didn't fool the Patriots. A couple of yards. McGrew on the inside, former Southern California Trojan, made the stop. Merlin, the Patriots facing such long odds as a wild card and having to play 3 straight games on the road. Now, the trip to the Jets was a shorter one. Then they have to go all the way to the West Coast and come back, and then all the way down to Miami.
I don't think people appreciate how hard that is. Strange beds, all that airline travel, all the distractions. The food is not what you're used to. And then you're in the enemy's camp. You're on their field.
Marino open. Clayton. And Clayton down at the 47-yard line. First down. He acted as though someone got the face mask.
Well, someone did slide off the back of his helmet, but I don't think they got the mask.
16 yards on the play to Clayton.
Rifle shot by Marino over the center. Square in by Clayton, who will come bursting across left to right on your screen. There he is. Roland James, 38. Ways off. James told me, he said, I've got to be back there trying to read Marino's eyes. All he needs is a step. and I can't cover the ground to get back to that receiver.
Final minutes of the first half. 17-7 New England. Marino goes long for Duper. Ooh, Raymond Claiborne, and Duper batting it around, almost landed in the lap of the Dolphin wide receiver.
Claiborne is not the man that they would favor going deep on. They'd rather go deep on Lepet because Claiborne will give you that ground. He keeps a nice cushion and then has more speed. Duper, by the way, the fastest of those two Marks brothers. And oh, you're right. Had that ball bounced a little more to the outside, it might have been a touchdown.
Like an outfielder and an infielder battling over the same fly ball. They go back to the 46-yard line, 2nd and 10. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, first half. Marino to Davenport, and the fullback is to the 45 of New England, shy of a first down by a long yard.
Marino is so very quick. Pressure on him by Andre Tippett right on the top. Let's go in and look inside. We talked about the matchup between Brock and Charles. There's number 98, Dennis Owens, working one-on-one on Dwight Stevenson. And Stevenson, you notice how quick he gets those hands up into that nose tackle? Controls him before he can even move off of that line.
Howie Long of the Raiders, I asked him who he voted for defensively for the Pro Bowl, and he named him off. He said, but Dwight Stevenson, I'd vote for him, and didn't he? He's the best player I saw all year. On 3rd and 1, over the middle, wide open, Bruce Hardy. First down, 15-yard line. There's the 2-minute warning. 1:58 left. The Dolphins are on the move.
We're not a company, but no company has more pride in what they do, or more pride in how well they do it. We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future, one that goes far beyond the ordinary, one that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Tenneco is a leading oil and gas producer. Tenneco is America's most successful shipyard. Tenneco is insurance protection for America's families. Tenneco is a leader in paper packaging. Tenneco is one of America's largest natural gas pipelines. The Tenneco family, building on quality.
On March 17th, a tornado destroyed the Camerlanders' home. By June 23rd, it was completely rebuilt thanks to Allstate.
If it wasn't for Allstate, we wouldn't be here in our new house today.
And I guess that really proves you're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
No matter who you are or what goals you have, when Dean Witter helps plan your investments, you're treated special.
Everybody is somebody at Dean Witter.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Super Bowl Sunday. The guys who put the fun back in football are now throwing America's biggest tailgate party. RSVP, NFL 85.
Graduates of that great quarterback class of '83, both Marino and Eason, along with Elway, Blackledge, Ken O'Brien, Jim Kelly. Of course, Marino, the last of those first-round picks, and has just been absolutely brilliant. In fact, Don Shula told us yesterday, Merlin Olsen, that in many ways he felt that his quarterback Marino was just as valuable, maybe a better player this year than he was last year when he set all those incredible records.
And who is going to break those records?
Yes.
I think the toughest thing in the world would be for Marino to compete with his own numbers from last year.
That last catch by Hardy was good for 29 yards, the longest of the 10 completions by Marino in this first half. Mostly the medium range as New England keeping the ball in front. But it's a first down at the 16 with 1:58 left in the half. Both Clayton and Duper to the left. Wide open and almost intercepted out of the hands of Dan Johnson and almost to Andre Tippett. Oh my, that could have been a crushing blow for Miami.
Detective Albert
Very nearly shifting emotion from 7 points to safety as Marino again has the ball right where he wants it. His big tight end, who already has 1 touchdown, couldn't hang on, and then Tippett, who had it in his hands, dropped it on the ground.
Tippett on the coverage. And of course, with the play in the end zone, if Tippett gets that, it's New England's ball out at the 20 on the touchback. 2nd down. Oh, surprise on the ground to Carter. No surprise to the Patriots. Boy, did number 52, Johnny Rembert, close in. 3 yards on the play.
You wonder how a quarterback feels when he sees a touchdown dropped. Well, Marino watches this one.
He is a leader. At his young age, he truly is a leader, isn't he?
I think that's how he has grown most in this year. You really sense that is in his leadership capability, and that's performance leadership above all else.
3rd down and 7. We told you the Patriots facing a team, Miami, best in the league on 3rd down. Through the hands of Joe Rose. It'll be 4th down, no flag. Ronnie Lepet, who played here at Miami as college ball, made the play defensively.
Don Shula uses so many tools. Most of these players, role players. Joe Rose is one of those. A fine receiver, half tight end, half wide receiver. They like him in that kind of situation. He hasn't been practicing all week with a toe injury, but he's in there complaining about Lepet manhandling him on that play.
This is a 31-yard attempt by Relevance, who missed only 5 all year. Oh, bad snap. And that's going to be wide to the right. No good. Relevance, who has had a great rookie year, making 22 of 27, and the 4 misses of the 5 were outside 50. You can't blame him. The snap was very high.
The Dolphins picked up Larry Lee as that snapper from Detroit late in the year. You see that high snap to Strock, who did a great job of just getting that ball down on the ground.
Of course, Bob Kuchenberg served that role.
Look at
so
this slap.
Years.
You missed that, Dick. Relevance slapped right there up to the side ahead of the Don Blackman.
The game that counts, the pressure mounts, the kickoff's almost here. Now you're talking football. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is smoking here.
Stroh's, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste.
Now you're talking Stroh's. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is smoking here.
At the Wall Street Journal, we believe that building a dream takes more than luck and hard work. It takes a vision of what tomorrow holds today. At the Journal, we've been giving people that vision for over 90 years. The Wall Street Journal, the daily diary of the American dream.
Chrysler LeBaron GTS challenges BMW 528e and Mercedes 190e to a test of performance. Overall, America's GTS dominates the legendary Germans and is under $12,000. LeBaron GTS. We built an American hero.
Now get low financing or $500 to $1,000 back on select Chrysler Plymouth models.
Last week in Los Angeles, the Patriots were guilty of taunting even the general manager, Pat Sullivan. Don Blackman, whoop, I don't like what you said, says Relevance. Then Blackman says, hey, that little guy hit me.
Well, I think this is a little early in the game to be taunting people. It's going New England's way right now, but we haven't finished the first half, Dick.
Robert Weathers, who set up the last touchdown with that long run, and Mike Charles sets him down. And you can see the lips of Don Shula tightening with each play. It's a worried expression. 17-7 as the Dolphins use a timeout.
One more quick look at Relevance. Sometimes we'd love to have the long-range microphone. It wasn't a pleasantry, I can tell you that.
We'll be back.
barbecues and cowboy shoes, guitars in high gear. Now you're talking country, now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times and Stroh's are spoken here.
Stroh's, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste.
Now you're talking Stroh's, now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times and Stroh's are spoken here.
The good doctor's up there. Dr. Jim Maloney, a Goodyear Blimp Enterprise from Pompano Beach, Florida. Dr. Maloney received his doctorate from the University of Southern California. He's from Vienna, Virginia, where they love their soccer torts. And we really appreciate the fine coverage that blimp has provided for 61 years.
Looking back inside at the action earlier, and we'll do that after a live play here as they're ready to tee it up again.
53 seconds left in this first half. And out to the 25 goes Weathers, and again Miami calls time, stops the clock with 47 seconds.
We talked about the key matchup being the one that puts Charles against Brock on the nose. Charles, as you noticed, had slid over and put himself in the gap on that play, bounced off the shoulder of Hog Hanna and got in there to get a strong arm on the ball carrier. Fine penetration and a good play. Very often a defense, after a crucial miss like that on a field goal, an emotional play, will come out there supercharged, trying to strip that ball away, trying to get something of their own.
A reminder that we will be selecting a Budweiser Most Valuable Player to be announced later in today's game. Well, if you're just joining us, earlier today, the Chicago Bears, second straight shutout, eliminated the Los Angeles Rams 24-0. And here, 2 fumble recoveries by New England have led to 10 points, and that's the difference in a 17-7 New England lead.
These Patriots really feel that they're a team of destiny, and they've talked about that. They believe that this is their turn. Hey, what jinx? We don't believe in that stuff. I'll tell you this, important. There's something that seems to be rather true in this first half. Let's put it that way. A quote that James came out with after their fine game against the Raiders out in Los Angeles. Well, they continue to have a lot of good things going for them in the first half here.
47 seconds remaining in the half. Third down and a short 5. Ooh, Weathers stopped cold. Kim Bokamper was there first. Betters helps out. And the final timeout spent by Miami with 42 seconds. So Don Shula's team will get a chance. Had a couple of desperation throws, maybe a long field goal.
Talking to Steve Grogan, quarterback, who of course led this team to 6 victories in the middle of the year, and Grogan said, hey, we know this team so well. They know us. There are no mysteries out there, no fooling going on, and there hasn't been any fooling. We said at the top of the show it was a question of whether the Miami defense could stop the running game. So far they have not been able to do that. It was a question of whether New England could stop Marino in the passing game, and really they have not been able to do that. Miami, of course, got all the way down, put it in the end zone, and then came down and blew their own opportunity at a field goal.
At halftime, well, the Chicago Bears have won. What one player are you happiest for the Bears that he's going to the Super Bowl? Is there any doubt? Sweetness.
You've got to be glad to see a man who has given so much enjoyment to the game and so much of himself. And I think the thing that amazes me about Peyton, continues to be unbelievable, is how he can continue to perform week in and week out without injury and still have this great amount of enthusiasm and energy that just doesn't seem to dissipate. He does indeed epitomize the best of the game of football.
Well, we're going to try to get Walter Payton, get his feelings at halftime, so stay with us for NFL 85 as Camarillo to punt. 10-men rush for Miami. Vigorito, the only man back. Here they come. Good kick under pressure. Vigorito all alone. 25, 30, and down at the 31. New England special teams are just that, special. 48-yard punt under pressure by Camarillo. 8-yard return.
Camarillo, of course, had one blocked last week by Greg Townsend, and there's all the earmarks of trouble here. Same situation as last week. Kicking to a rusher coming on. They didn't get to that one as Camarillo really put his foot in it. And I think sometimes when those punters see that rush coming, there's a rush of adrenaline. They really get that ball out of there.
31 seconds for Marino. No timeouts. to try to get his team at least into field goal range and cut the New England advantage to a touchdown. It's 17-7 Patriots. 70 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Tippett coming. Screen to Nathan. Fumble, or is it incomplete? Incomplete pass. Oh, that had not only destiny but disaster written on it for New England.
Tony Nathan saying to himself, hey, it's a slick footing out here, but that football has got to get some stickiness on it. I can't afford to drop it again.
He had 3 blockers and only 1 red shirt, but credit Don Blackman with a good defensive play, and he doesn't get enough credit.
He does not get enough credit. He has had an all-pro year, but when you have a player that is AFC Player of the Year at the other linebacking slot on the other side, kind of hard to get the notice you deserve.
And here comes that player, Tippett, 56. Oh, right in the hands of Blackman. He wasn't looking for the ball, but his coverage was so good, the pass was right there. He's from Tulsa University and makes his home just to the north in Fort Lauderdale.
How close was he to a touchdown? Well, if he gets his arms wrapped around that football, there's not a white shirt between him and that Miami goal.
Ooh, nothing but Golden Coast down the sidelines. Marino 11 for 20 in the rain now in the final seconds of this first half. 21 seconds show on the clock. And Marino, the best protected quarterback in the league, sacked for the first time. And Veras, the rookie from Stanford, who had 10 sacks on the year, along with Tippett, gets the initial sack for New England today.
A stunt on the right side of that defense as they just blitz Veras in. And every time Marino goes down, you know that there's some concern on the sideline. Those knees both strapped into harnesses, and ooh, he is wrapped hard over his legs. Garen Veras showing you the kind of quickness that has allowed him to play so well this season.
Miami, it's a combination of good protection and the quick release of Marino, and he and the Dolphins led the league with those numbers the last 3 years.
Marino simply does not allow himself to be sacked, and I think part of that, Dick, is that he is really concerned about injury. The other thing is he has such good vision, such a good feel for the field, that he knows how to throw that ball away better than anyone perhaps except Dan Fouts.
Now there's 15 seconds left. The Dolphins kicking from deep in their own end. Roland James, if he catches the ball on a fair catch, the Patriots get a free kick. If it's a short kick, we might see Tony Franklin, you can uncontested, try another field goal. That play is in the works. Now Roby's job perhaps is not to kick it all the way in the fly, to bounce it in, to take that opportunity away. Yeah, they're going to get a chance on it. Fair catch, but it's going to be at the 34-yard line, which makes it even out of the range of Franklin, perhaps. But it's just like a kickoff. You can tee it up and kick it from there, and if it goes through the uprights, it's worth 3, but too far away.
Well, if we had about a 50-mile-an-hour wind, we might be willing to. They might be willing to take a shot here. Let's take a look inside at Roby and watch the plant foot. Roby has to go down for that kick for that snap. Watch him. He kicks with that left foot almost flat on the ground. Just a tremendous power driving piston. Huge legs. I'll tell you, these kickers for Miami have got to be the biggest in the league and among the very finest.
Probably the last play of the half. Eason out of a shotgun with 8 seconds left. Ooh, almost got away from it. Complete to Derek Ramsey at the 50, the end of the first half in Miami's Orange Bowl. Opportunistic New England leaves the field with a 17-7 lead. The difference, 2 fumble recoveries at Miami's end of the field, and the Patriots get a field goal and a touchdown out of it. And the underdog, the Cinderella story, still very much alive. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Within these walls, a family began a new life together. The happiest times Colette and Jeff McDonald ever knew. Within these walls, it all came to an end. Now, if these walls could only talk, the truth would be known.
I did not murder my wife and children.
Based on the true story, Fatal Vision, tonight.
Well, another long-distance bill. A bill should be an important way for a business to collect information. But if it's an AT&T bill, it might only collect dust. Fortunately, there's the billing solution from GTE Sprint. Now you can break down spending by client, location, department, or individual. So you can put that information to work, not into storage. When you've got Sprint, you've got the future on the line.
In New York, the country's Big Apple, the word around town is German.
Bex.
In Washington, the nation's capital, the word around town is German.
Bex.
In Los Angeles, the home of the stars, the word around town is German.
Bex.
Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
Hidden Risks of Ginnie Mae is strictly business tonight, 11:45.
Hi again, everybody. Bob Costas back at halftime. Even though Don Blackman couldn't hold on to that apparent interception near the end of the first half, the Patriots have certainly been opportunistic in this game and throughout the playoffs. 2 turnovers leading to 10 of their 17 points today. They have forced 12 turnovers in 2.5 playoff games thus far, with the wins over the Jets and the Raiders. Counting the 17 points they've scored against Miami, they have 70 playoff points thus far, 47 of them set up by turnovers. Let's take a look at some highlights, and we'll see Raymond Berry on the sideline for the Patriots, the guy whose low-key personality has galvanized this team into a winner. Don Shula, Berry's former coach and teammate with the Colts, on the other side. Now, after a Tony Nathan fumble gave the Patriots possession at the 20, this play by Mike Charles stopping Robert Weathers forced them to settle for a Tony Franklin field goal and a 3-0 lead. Early second quarter, Dan Johnson on the receiving end of the Marino bullet, 7-3 in favor of the Dolphins, but a big play from Weathers. He breaks outside, spins off a couple of tacklers, and takes off 44 yards down to the 7, and that will lead a couple of plays later to the go-ahead touchdown for the Patriots, the one that gives them the 10-7 lead. Tony Eason, who has had a fine first half under the championship game pressure, tosses to running back Tony Collins. They have the lead at 10-7. They're driving again with the running game working well, and again it's Eason on the rollout, this time to Derek Ramsey, 17-7. Marino got the Dolphins into position to score, but this high snap fouled Fuad Reveiz up. He misses the 31-yarder. Then when Blackman taunts him, little Reveiz takes exception and says, "Hey, get out of my face." Now here's Blackman appealing to the referee. "Sir, did you see that? He can't get away with that." But he and the Patriots did, leading 17-7 at the half, trying to break the jinx. 18 consecutive losses at the Orange Bowl, dating back to 1966. The winner today meets the Bears in the Super Bowl. A look at what happened today at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears defense again dominated in their 24-0 win. Rams knew they needed a big game from Dickerson, didn't get it. 17 carries, 46 yards, fumbled twice, and he lost one of those 2 fumbles. The mobility of Jim McMahon was one of the many keys for Chicago today. In the first quarter, he takes off on the 16-yarder, airborne to complete it. They lead 7-0. Now explain this to me if you can. Trailing 10-0 as the half is coming to a close, and with a timeout remaining, the Rams run this play. The catch by Dickerson off the Brock pass, but John Robinson's team didn't use the timeout they had left. They were never able to set up for the field goal. After Willie Gault caught a touchdown pass from McMahon to make it 17-0, the icing on the cake, Dent hits Dieter Brock. Wilbur Marshall picks it up. He gallops 53 yards for the touchdown. They win it 24-0. It's their 2nd straight shutout in the playoffs. That's never happened before. Their 4th shutout of the year, and the 13th time this season that the awesome Bear defense has held an opponent to 10 points or less. After a long and glorious career, Sweetness Walter Payton is headed for the big show, the Super Bowl. Jimmy Cefalo visited with him at Soldier Field.
Thanks, Bob Walter. After 11 years of a great deal of personal accomplishment, now finally the chance for a Super Bowl championship. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I tell you what, it's unbelievable, to be in this position. Last year we got into the championship game against the 49ers, and we ended up losing that game, and the offense didn't even score any points. And from that point on, when we got into the locker rooms, everybody dedicated themselves to say, we're going to be back there. We're going to be back for the playoffs. We want the first playoff game in Chicago, and we want the last playoff game in Chicago. And we brought those things about by our performance, and we knew that if we had it here, it's no way we're going to lose.
After 11 years of trying so hard for a championship and never achieving one until this point, was there any time during your career that you thought you may want out of Chicago for a team that was going to be a contender?
Well, playing, I tell you what, the first couple of years that I was here, it was no way. I said, hey, I'm going to just play as hard as I can and give all I can and see what happens. And wherever the chips fall, that's what happens, because nothing is promised. And even after last year, I started thinking about my career after losing to San Francisco, and I realized that the things that I've accomplished and the things that I've been able to do in playing with Chicago, one game can't tarnish that. And for what I've accomplished, if I never played into a Super Bowl, I've experienced certain things that no other individuals have, and it's been a tribute to the organization and the way we play in football. And if I make it to the Super Bowl, it's icing on the cake. If I don't, it still doesn't mean that my career was all for naught.
Jimmy Cephalo with Walter Payton. Obviously, it made no difference in terms of the outcome of the game, but what were John Robinson and the Rams thinking when they didn't use the timeout they had remaining and at least get the momentum of a field goal at the end of the first half? All right, in any case, let's turn our attentions to the Patriots, who had covered 13 consecutive weeks, but they had not made a believer out of Pete Axthelm at the beginning of the game.
Not this time, no. I have a landscaping note on the Patriots. Everyone knows they're a carpet team. They play at home on carpets. They do very well on the road on carpets. The most impressive thing about their playoff games, their first one convincing against the Jets on another artificial surface. But then they go out to the Coliseum and the feared Raiders. They not only win, but they prove that Pat Sullivan can take a punch from Howie Long. Today, they go into the feared Orange Bowl against that jinx, and maybe they're going to win it again. They're certainly doing what they want now. However, I agree with Merlin's parting thought at the end of the half. It was a little early for Blackman to start taunting anyone when you're playing Shula teams.
All right, Ax, some quick thoughts from Larry King. Larry, in years gone by, when you were the color man on the Dolphin radio broadcast, on occasion, you were in the locker room with Don Shula at halftime when his team is losing. And this is a big game, obviously, so the pressure increased many times over. What is he like? How does he address his team?
Don's one of those guys who's better when losing. There are some coaches and managers in baseball like that. Don will be cool and relaxed. In the early days, he may have been a screamer, but all that's past. He's matured very well. You can bet he is standing there with a blackboard. He is telling that team what they must do in the second half that they did not do in the first half. He's laying out the full situation for them in calm tones. He is not going to be someone to rant and rave. Don Shula has control of the situation.
All right, Larry, as they did last week against the Browns, they must come back today from a halftime deficit against the Patriots. We'll go down to the Orange Bowl and join Ahmad Rashad in a few moments, but right now a news update from NBC's Tom Brokaw.
Thanks, Bob. United States diplomatic offices in the Netherlands are on a high state of alert this evening after the Dutch Justice Ministry said warnings of Palestinian terrorist attacks now had become more conclusive. Sand-filled dumpsters were placed in front of the U.S. Embassy in The Hague. 7 armed Iranians boarded a U.S. merchant ship in international waters today. The U.S. State Department said the Iranians were Navy men, that they boarded the ship outside the Persian Gulf, that they left the ship after about 2 hours when they determined that it was not carrying weapons to Iraq. The White House expressed, however, serious concern. A senior Libyan official said today that Muammar Gaddafi's invitation to President Reagan to visit him in his tent was merely a figure of speech. Gaddafi invited President Reagan yesterday when, joined by his wife and 4 of their children, the Libyan leader welcomed 6 female journalists to his tent in Tripoli. He told the journalists that if President Reagan were to visit, he would see that I don't live in the trenches. A black South African leader, Ampi Maiza, was found hacked to death today, shortly before he was scheduled to meet near Johannesburg with Chester Crocker. He's the U.S. State Department's top African expert. Maiza's murder was believed to have been carried out by black political opponents. The reluctant space shuttle Columbia finally took off today.
We have ignition. We have liftoff.
Columbia left Florida at 6:55 a.m. Eastern Time, following a record 7 consecutive launch delays. The shuttle flight kicks off the busiest year in space with 15 launches planned. Columbia this afternoon successfully launched a satellite. And finally, the Malaysian news agency reported today that 2 Japanese soldiers have been doing forced labor for a band of communist guerrillas in Malaysia since the end of World War II. For most of that time, the guerrillas reportedly persuaded the soldiers that they were helping the Japanese fight against the Allies. The Japanese soldiers didn't learn until the late 1970s that the war was over, and even then, the communists refused to set them free. I'm Tom Brokaw, NBC News in New York. Now back to Bob Costas.
Thanks, Tom. And we'll take it now to the Orange Bowl in Miami. Ahmad Rashad standing by on the sidelines. Ahmad, before the game, you told me that from New England's perspective, you were concerned not only about the extra game they had to play as a wild card, but the 3rd straight week on the road, how it might take its toll. So far, no ill effects.
You're right, Bobby. It looks to me that it's incredible that New England can keep their intensity, because it really throws you out of your every day-to-day habits that you have when you get a chance to play at home. When you go on the road, it's almost like going back to a training camp situation. You got a curfew, you eat meals together, you got meetings all day. But so far, as you say, it hasn't looked like it's bothered New England Patriots at all. And talking about the first half, I talked to some of the Miami Dolphin guys, and they feel like it's not only the turnovers that are killing them, but some bad tackling. Let's take a look at a run by Robert Weathers early in the game. Now, this is a situation where they had him hemmed in. He tries to skirt around the left end, and they got pretty good pursuit over here. But all of a sudden, we're going to see some missed tackles come up here. Weathers just keeps his feet going. This is what a good runner will always do. Here's 1 missed tackle, 2 missed tackles, and he gets down the sideline. Here comes another guy who has a chance to make the tackle. Misses the tackle. Weathers keeps going. He's brought down about the 4-yard line, a 45-yard run. Now, the guy that's really impressed me this whole first half is Tony Eason. I mean, he's operating so cool that they could call him the doctor. Let's take a look at his first touchdown. Now, this is a great play by the quarterback and the receiver. Tony Collins is a one-on-one situation. He has an option route. He fakes to the outside. Eason pumps. He curls back inside. Eason lays the ball right on the line. It's just an excellent play by the receiver and an excellent play by the quarterback. I talked to Mark Duper on his way into halftime, and he said that they're playing way off of him. So I expect them to try to go the ball to Mark Duper in the second half. They've got to do something. They didn't want to be in this situation like they were last week against Cleveland, but here they are in it. They're going to have a great effort to get back in this football game.
Okay, Ahmad, at the half, the Patriots trying to make it to the Super Bowl as a wild card team. Somebody's got to be an opponent for the Bears. The Patriots leading at 17-7. Back to Dick and Merlin after these messages from your local stations.